CMPRadio.net. It's the station.
What's up, everybody? How you feeling tonight? I know it's Uncomfortable Conversations with Uncle P and Drea B. How you feeling? What's going on, Drea? How you feeling?
Hey, I'm good. Happy to be on spring break.
It's crazy, man. Being on spring break is so freeing. Like I just been, chilling and like getting everything together though here, right? I know it looks a little brighter up in this joint. Not really, right? It looks a little dark. We're gonna work on that. We're gonna get everything right. But how you feeling, man?
I'm good. Refreshed.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, tonight's episode, over the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about attachment styles, how you could be connected and not attached. We talked about what else we talked about? You versus you, right? We talked about that last week. This week, Andrea's gonna interview Uncle P, right?
Yeah, this is like our 7th episode.
Yeah. It is. So I'm listen. I ain't got no notes or nothing today. So
wow, we freestyling with this. Okay,
I'm free. You have all the questions written down. And like I said, man, I'm an open book. So if anybody has any questions in the comments, you can ask me whatever you want, man. I'm not sweating anything.
Okay, so I thank you for giving me this opportunity to interview you. Mm-hmm. You are a purpose pusher, and I feel like that people should, know more about you. So I decided to, do this interview. So I'm going to start off with the first question. What is your favorite mantra you currently resonate with, and why?
My favorite mantra. I have so many, right? I'm not saying I have so many, like it's so many things, but there's so many things that sit with me and allow me to keep pushing. But I'm not quoting anybody else, but passion drives purpose. That's something that I came up with. I'm sure I'm not the first person to ever say it, but I had T-shirts that said it. Passion drives purpose. So you have to have a passion behind your purpose, right? And if you don't have a passion behind it, that's why you get a flat tire real quick, because you don't really care, right? To be passionate about something means you truly and deeply care about it, right? So I'm passionate about the radio station. I'm passionate about my community, and without that passion, I wouldn't be able to see my purpose through.
And that reminds me of, before we got on the air, I was talking about like how I smile every time I see you doing your shorts and your little affirmations. Every day you're constantly pushing forward with your purpose. So right. that aligns with what you just said.
Yeah, it's hard. It's not easy, right? To wake up every morning and to do it. And some days are rougher than others. But, if you try to find the silver lining, right? And the reason why you do it. If the reason why you do it is pure, you just keep doing it.
Yeah, you're consistent. Every day.
I try to
every
be.
day.
I try to tell people consistency is what pays you, bro. If you're not consistent, then you might as well sit down.
Absolutely. This is a question, and this is something that I am really, really, I think is important, is legacy. So this question is, how important is legacy to you and why?
Legacy is super important to me. To build something that you can pass down, to create a space for your children to come in and to do what you do, right? I see. When I first started the radio station, it wasn't a radio station.
Okay.
It was a place for me to come in, and I was going through a divorce.
Okay.
And a separation and trying to figure out where I was. And I knew I was leaving children behind. And honestly, I didn't really think I would be here today.
Wow.
My dad died at 37, so I thought I would die at 37. No problem. But I didn't. So I began to record messages to my son, to my daughters. You feel me? Your first date, your first heartbreak.
Wow.
Right? How to get over these things. And then we started recording podcasts. Then things started to move forward, and it blew up. But I want to say it blew up because we were all on the same mission, right?
Gotcha.
We wanted people to understand why we did what we did, why we thought the way we thought, right? And everybody's still doing that. Everybody's out there, Nafati got a restaurant, Mary got her clothing line.
Nice.
You feel me? Everybody's still active.
That's awesome.
And I appreciate their time. You feel me? Because without them, there wouldn't have been a radio station. Kenny's still painting. You feel me? Like, I can go back to before them. Billy Rick still telling jokes. You feel me? Lost a brother, but I know that he's looking down on me, telling me to keep going. Right? You didn't do all this for nothing. So.
Right.
Yeah, legacy is extremely important. I don't know which one of my 8 will pick it up.
Okay.
But somebody don't have no other choice. Jordan comes in here and plays with the board. She likes to mess with the board and make it sound. She likes the microphones, right? Okay. So, I'm hoping it's her, right? Okay. But whoever picks it up, it'll be here for them.
Awesome. So the next question is: describe a pivotal turning point in your life, and what made that moment so monumental for you?
There's so many of those. I have a couple pivotal moments in my life. When my father passed away, when I went from being nerdy P to street P, I ran outside in the street and I thought I was doing something. My dad passed away. He asked me, to take care of his wife and his daughter. That's a lot of pressure for a 12-year-old child.
Absolutely.
And when you don't know how to do that, you feel me? Like, I didn't know that if I would have just remained on the line that he had me on, I would have been good, right? It wouldn't have been no problem. I would have been able to, go to school, become a doctor. You feel me? Or do whatever I was supposed to do. But I ran to the streets to make money, to be a provider. And, I showed you, pick that up. Right? It's my criminal background, right? That's everything that I have done since January 27th, 1998. Wow. Right? That thing is thick. And the constant understanding or the lack of understanding that went through my mind led me to this point where I am right now. Another pivotal moment in my life was when I filed for divorce. When I said, I've broken enough over here, right? And for me to be healthy, we got to go separate ways. No, I don't think she liked that, right? I didn't really like it either, but I never thought we would be enemies.
Wow.
And another one, when my mom died, right? That was really an about face. I think I've moved. You wanna go 180 from what you used to be. Mm-hmm. You don't want to go 360 because that takes you right back. So that was 90 degrees, right? And
Right.
then so I got to move another 90 to really be in the space that I'm in, and I'm okay walking down that road, right? We talk now, me and my ex-wife, we talk.
That's awesome.
We have conversations. She's supportive, right?
Awesome.
She tries to be, and I try to be as supportive as I can be to her. So, understanding that, life will give you the people it's supposed to give you.
Absolutely.
It just depends on how you're treating them, whether they stick around.
Facts. And some people are seasonal people, and some
Yes,
people are lifetime
yes,
people.
I get that. I get that too. Absolutely.
So I'm gonna add another question that's not on here.
That's
so,
okay.
Like, with all the experiences that you've had, would you ever consider like writing another book and like publishing it?
Yeah, I've like my story's not done yet. It's not, right? I think if I was to write a book now, it would be a tell-all on me. You feel me? And
Okay.
I don't know if people would really like that.
Okay.
Right? But also, to tell you to just stay focused. Right? Whatever you want in life you can get, but you just have to remain focused, right? It's gonna be good days, it's gonna be bad days, it's gonna be things that piss you off, it's gonna be things that break your heart, it's gonna be things that make you happy. Right? Things are gonna happen. But you gotta keep moving, right? You can take time to smell the roses, but don't pick them, right? And just keep moving down the line, because you're not where you're supposed to be.
I also, feel like with that being said, you need to take time to cheer for yourself.
I don't do that
Why not?
because I feel like that's egotistical. To cheer for myself, to pat myself on the back, no.
You don't believe in
I don't even
being-
want to tell the story of CMP. You know how many people have hit me up that have cameras and like, yo, I want to come in there. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like, go talk to my ex-partners. Go talk to them. Get this. If you want the story about who I am, go talk to them and then come talk to me. And then I don't want to see it. Just put it out. Like you said, you had questions. I don't want to know what questions you have to ask me, because I can answer whatever you ask me.
Right.
You feel me? I told people you could jump on here. You can ask a question. You feel me? Like, I have no other choice but to answer. That's where I am, right? I'm not hiding. I'm not running. I'm not ducking. I'm here. I want all the smoke, because I know I don't have no smoke.
So you don't believe in being your biggest cheerleader?
Mm-mm.
Well, who gonna cheer for you? Because everybody don't want to see you win, so you gotta cheer for yourself.
Yeah, you can cheer for yourself, like motivate yourself to keep moving. I can do that, but I can't publicly go out there and say, yeah, look at all the stuff that I did. I started a radio station. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm not. That's not my job, right?
Okay, I
My
got
job
you.
is to do and to talk about doing and to motivate people to want to do. You feel me? My job ain't to sit there and say, look at all the stuff that
But
I've
is there
done.
a crime in being proud of your accomplishments?
Again, I said patting myself on the back in public.
Okay.
Being proud of my accomplishments is going upstairs and looking at all the people. I did a show the other night, and a brother texted me. I opened the text lines, and brother texted me and told me, seeing me work inspires him.
Okay.
Right? That's really all I need. I don't need to sit there and hype myself up, right? And that's only because, you feel me, I'm not where I need to be. I'm still a work in progress. I'm still someone who lied and manipulated and played games. I'm still that person, and I'm trying to move away from that person, right? And do the right thing. So no, I would never pat myself on the back. Look at what I did. I did a lot. I have done a lot. I remember when I was trying to get the stadium fixed up at the A field, right? Trying to reach out. I found out what I found out, and they started pushing back, right? There's a reason I'm not doing anything with people, because people are, who they are.
So to counter that, like when you're having rough days, and like, don't you say some affirmations? Like, what do you do to pick yourself up?
Nah, I don't. When I have a rough day, I don't stand. We talked about me having a rough day.
Yes.
I'm not going to say I do that all the time, but, I think about what life would be if I wasn't here, right? Would it be easier, right? And typically when I do that, something happens to remind me who I am, right? And why I'm here and why I got to keep moving, right? So a rough day comes, right? But I try to look at it with a silver lining. I try to look at the positive inside of it being rough. What did I learn? right? Because it's a lesson in it's either a lesson or a blessing.
Facts.
And I don't have a problem with learning my lesson and moving forward, right? I've been smacked upside. You see my listen, right? I've been smacked upside my head a couple times. You feel me? For me to learn my lesson. So now it's a little bit easier. It just seeps right in.
Well, you're teaching me a lesson in humility because I feel like it's nothing wrong with having a little bit of ego. I mean, because
Well, that's one of the main reasons why our community is the way it is. It's ego driven. Everybody wants to be the man. Everybody wants to stand on top of the mountain. Everybody wants to piss on somebody else's head instead of working together. Then you wonder why we have the situations that we have in our community where no one trusts each other. No one want to work with each other. You feel me? No one wants to build anything together. Everybody wants to build it separate. It's a radio station here. Somebody asked me last week, they was like, you ever get mad that it's so many, it's a couple people with podcasts and they don't, no, I'm proud of them, bro. If I see they stuff, if I'm on Facebook long enough, I post and dip. Like literally, right? I might stop by and like somebody's stuff, but I got other things I have to do. I'm working. Put my foot in your butt. You tell me to get up and go. I try, right, to understand everything. And that's why I give grace to everyone. That's why I suggest that we give grace to everyone and we work together because it's getting ugly out here.
I get it. Every time I have a conversation, I'll be like, you need to pat yourself on the back or you need to, give yourself some credit. And you always remain the same, like,
no, let somebody else do that. I let somebody else do that. I got a tattoo on my arm of a knife. I got this. I was about 21.
Okay.
It's on my right hand, on my right arm. Every time I shake your hand, I put it in your hand. Every time. And I turn my back. See, it's my knife. So it goes in. When you stab me in the back, it goes in the way I expect it to. I think the one thing that gets me down was losing my mother.
Okay.
Right, last year. Right. Other than that, the last 6-7 years, I was living in the station. I didn't have a place to stay. You feel me? Like I was staying places, but it wasn't home because it didn't feel like home. You feel me? Like, but now I have my own place. Now I'm doing my own thing. You feel me? And I realized that once I believed in myself enough to put everything on me to do, here we go.
But now I'm looking at it from your perspective. When you don't feed, like you don't need like accolades, you don't need people like saying things to you. So you're not looking for that validation. So nobody can really like tear you down too much because you're not craving it.
And people say, what's the word? I'm arrogant. People say I'm arrogant.
And see, I don't see that.
I say, if I'm arrogant to the fact that I don't play games. I don't want to play games. I don't want to laugh. I don't want to joke. I don't want to party. I don't want to go out. Right? I want to build my community back up. I want people to trust me. I want people to understand how hard it is to really care about a child that isn't yours, right? And really want to give them the best opportunity to be successful, right? If we all do that, then we're back to being a village. We're back to trusting. Air out why you don't trust me. Talk to me. Yo, P, I don't trust you. All right, well, I'm sorry. That was old me. That's not current me. So, you got to trust me again. You feel me? You have to trust. Well, we're broken. We're upset. We're mad. We're frustrated. We don't want to trust anybody. So don't talk to my kid like that. What do you mean? Like, if I'm looking out for your child, if I love your child, I should be able to tell your child if they're wrong.
Facts.
I don't have to put my hands on them, but I should be able to tell your child if they're wrong. If I can't do that, then we're not really a village. And you're doing it by yourself. So when you go through something, don't come to me because you already said we ain't a village.
But I think that's what you're promoting on rebuilding that mantra of building community.
Absolutely. I watched my father do that. I watched my father being the banneker for all the young men that were older than me. I want to say they're probably about 50 right now.
Okay.
They know my father. They remember my father chasing them around, checking their report cards, checking up on them, doing things that other men weren't doing at that time. When my father died, man, I was mad, frustrated, upset, but still wanted to help and still wanted to be there. I was still a giver. I was still because I was raised almost to be a pastor, right? and I wanted to give so much of myself. Even right now, people say, bro, how do you have a radio station and you buy T-shirts, but you're giving them away? You ain't even really selling them.
Wow.
You're giving them away. Then you do stuff in the community and you don't want nobody to pay. You want to know, I feel like, the big companies should pay. All those companies on 291, they should pay for us to have fun. They should pay for us to be here. Why not? They making money. What are you doing for the community? But see, it's not enough of us. It's just me. So when I go in there, then somebody else comes behind me. Well, you really ain't gotta do that. Just make sure I'm good.
Wow.
Right. So we backstab each other. It's hard.
So I got this question. What are you looking to accomplish for yourself and your platform in the next 5 years?
The next 5 years, I would like for CMP to be on the radio. I had a conversation with a potential advertiser today, and they said, well, I'm not really into internet radio, right? I don't know too much about that. So what's your listener like? I said, honestly, I have more listeners and followers on Facebook than I do on the radio app. Mm-hmm. But I'm constantly promoting the radio app. Mm-hmm. So if you become a sponsor, you really become a sponsor of me, right? Mm-hmm. And what I do, I'll make sure your stuff. We'll put a coupon together. You come in, check out CMP. If you mention CMP, I'll take $10 off. Well, they come in and they mention CMP, you'll know. You feel me? That they listen to CMP. You get 5, 10 people come in. That more than covers what I'm at. I'm asking for $10 a day, $300 a month. I'm not asking you for a whole lot of money, right?
Right.
And it's not even really for me because that money's going to go into the community. It's going to go into Fusion Friday, right? It's going to go into Infinite Men of Honor, the things that we're trying to do together, right? So it's just, it gets hard. It gets frustrating. You feel me? But, you got to take it.
Okay.
Running out of questions?
This is a doozy.
You got a doozy?
Yeah.
All right, I'm ready.
What is one major lesson you learned this year, and how did you apply that knowledge you learned to your everyday life?
One major question that I've learned this year.
Major lesson.
One what?
One major lesson you learned.
One major lesson that I learned this year. Keep your friends close and your enemies even closer. Right? I don't really think I have any enemies, right? I'm all about love, bro. Cultivate mature positivity.
I hear you.
Me? When we first started, I remember Nafati, man, I love her to death, right? That's sis. The things she used to always cultivate mature positivity. And she would get so flustered, right? And now I see her, right, with a whole restaurant, bro, doing her thing, and I'm super proud of her. You feel me? Like. So, and she's a friend. She's my sister, not my blood sister, but that's my sister. Like if something happened, I'm there. Right. You feel me? But you understand, you got to continue to do what you're doing, right? You can't always depend on other people or lean on other people while they're working, right? So, one lesson that I learned this year is keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Yeah. That's what drives me right now, right? Just talking to people, right, and making sure they understand why I'm doing this radio station. Why is this radio station here? Why are we continuing to cultivate mature positivity? And what is cultivate? Well, to cultivate something means to let it grow, right? But before you put the seed in the soil, you got to make sure the soil can help the seed grow.
Right.
You got to make sure you're planted in a spot that's still going to get sunlight, and you got to make sure you got some water. Like those are the things you have to do before you put the seed in the ground.
Right.
Can't just put the seed in the ground and hope everything works out, right? So cultivation is making sure where you're planting. And Chester is a fertile ground, bro. So many great people have come from this city.
Absolutely.
You feel me? So many warriors have come from this city, bro. If Chester don't do nothing, it gives you heart. I learned I didn't like going to Chester High School. But it gave me a lot of heart to be able to go to different places and do different things. You feel me? If I could stand up in there. So when I went upstate, I wasn't scared. I was mad at myself. I promised myself I'd never go through this again, but I wasn't scared. You want to talk about scared? Imagine being a 13-year-old boy walking through Chester High for the first time. 13. Everybody else in there wild, crazy, doing their thing. and they knew each other. They went to grade school together. I was new. I was fresh meat. You feel me? Like Pierre. And the name like Jean-Pierre? Oh my God. But that was fear. When the rest of my life I wasn't scared anymore. Right? So I thank Chester for that. I thank Chester for giving me that heart to stand up for what's wrong and to stand in a position and to stand in front of things that are being thrown at my people to hurt them, right? And say, nah, that's not what we should do. We should do something else.
I want to give you your flowers.
No.
No, I want to publicly give you your flowers because anybody that has something that they're trying to do positive within the community, you're always cheering for others.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you don't cheer for yourself, but you always cheer for others, and you're always promoting positivity in the community. Like, it's a lot of people that we have from the community that's good. And I want to shout out everybody that was raised in Chester that still continues to work in Chester. The educators, the mentors, anybody that's still living in the city and working in the city. You know, the city gets a bad rep, but it's a lot of good people that still remain here. So kudos to everybody that is, you know, still in the city.
Absolutely.
Next question. What advice would you have for someone that is interested in following a similar path as you in podcasting and telecommunication?
First of all, you have to know your audience, right? I think I discovered that today. I've been talking to people that don't necessarily want to hear what I have to say.
Okay.
Right? Not that they're not supportive of it, right? They just like I ain't trying to change. I'm not trying to know that I have to be accountable. I'm not trying to learn that I had trauma when I was young. I'm not trying to learn that I got to go to therapy. I'm not trying to be in the community sharing anything. We partying over here. But I'm like, you can party later, right? After you get the help that you need, right? So you know that you can healthy party or you can be this destructive partier, right? That likes to get drunk and fight and fuss and scream and holler. I would tell a person to know your audience. I would tell a person to be consistent.
Okay.
Right? And not just be consistent, but also be persistent, right? Because it's your dream that you're following, right? Nobody else's. Mm-hmm. You'll bring other people onto your team and be okay with those people leaving. You have to, right? Because they weren't necessarily really a part of your dream. You just saw them and thought that they wanted to be involved, right? And still support them if they go on to do other things, right? But it gets hard, right? You know, your worst day podcasting might be better than your worst day doing a regular job, right? Mm-hmm. So just try to look at the positives of that, right? My worst day was being locked up. So any day I'm out here and I'm free and I can go to the bathroom when I want and I can go to sleep when I want, it's a good day for me. I don't care what's going on.
Do you do any speaking engagements or community service surrounding young Black men that are at risk for incarceration or rehabilitated from being incarcerated?
No speaking engagements because I'm still not comfortable with my speaking voice.
What?
Because I like to curse. Like, I'm sorry. You get me in front of a group of kids, I'm going to talk to them. You feel me? And a lot of people don't like that. And I'm going to keep it real with them.
That's what they need.
But everybody don't accept real. You feel me? People accept real from the people that they respect. You feel me? Like, if they don't respect you, then they're not going to accept it, right? You could say something and it'd be like, you shouldn't say that. Now tell me why I shouldn't say that.
But you've been in the trenches.
Everybody doesn't respect that. I learned that early. Bro. Like, everybody doesn't respect that. Somebody else could say it, not me. So I try to get in my lane. I'm positive. You feel me? I'm not trying to be anybody else, right? They say Uncle P stands for Uncle Positivity, right? It's not Uncle Pierre. You feel me? Like, It's Uncle Positivity, right? And how much positivity can you shove down somebody's throat, right? So I just want you to dream. I just want you to believe in yourself. I just want you to believe in what you're doing, right? If you believe in yourself and you believe in what you're doing, then you can never be wrong. right? You, believing in you. So when you say, I don't pat myself on the back, you feel me?
You gotta clap for yourself. I don't care what you say.
I don't clap for myself, but I believe in myself.
Okay. All
You
right.
feel me?
Okay.
So, you know, there's nothing anyone can say or do to have me not believe in myself. I sold drugs. I did some other things. I did some more other things. I lied. I cheated. I stole. Right? I did all of those things. But I haven't done any of those stuff in the last 8 years. So I definitely believe in myself with this radio station. I definitely believe the radio station is something that my community needs. You feel me? It's not just something that I'm doing. I'm not just doing it, right? When have you ever known anybody to hold a forum to talk to the politicians of our community? Not very often, right? And if it does happen, it's not done by people of this skin color.
Correct.
Right? We need to be active when it comes to voting, right?
Right.
We need to be active when it comes to deciding who's in charge, right?
Absolutely.
Sometimes we pick leaders based off popularity.
Facts.
And you get a popular leader that don't know what the hell they doing.
Facts.
Right? Or they get a popular leader that makes a mistake that could cripple your city for years.
Facts.
Right? So I try my best to be and believe in myself, to be positive, to believe in myself, to give good energy. So no, I don't do speaking engagements, again, because I don't trust my voice, right? And that's me.
Okay.
Right? Other people might trust it. They might bang with it. I just don't trust my voice yet. And then you got to go through certain things.
Yeah, so that means it would be something that you would consider in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely in the future, right? So, you know, I had 2 strokes. Right, so my memory, like it be messing with me, right, and I don't want to be sitting there reading off a piece of paper. Like, I want to speak, you feel me? So it was like I need to hone my craft. 2 years into this radio station, I received a job from the district attorney's office.
Oh, okay.
Chester Partnership for Safe Neighborhoods, right? Shout out to the DA, right? It helped keep the radio station open. The money that came in kept the radio station open, helped me take care of my kids and do different things. 2 years after that, I had another job with PA Humanities, right? So now I got 2 jobs. So I wasn't really focused on the radio station. The night before my mom died, I called her, talked to her. I was upset. I was upset because I was at a hotel with my daughter, right? And I was doing that like so often, right? And it was like every 2 weeks I was doing that. And I was frustrated. I was mad. And I was like, you know, I'm doing all of this and I'm being pulled in 2 absolute opposite directions. One is sending me to Pittsburgh to go out there to Erie, right? Sending me different places. I went to Chicago, and another job wants me in the community, right? To go into the prison to tell kids, you feel me, to stop shooting each other. Those are all messages that I believe in, right?
Right.
I'm a storyteller.
Amazing storyteller.
Right. I'm a positive preacher. I'm not really a preacher, but you know, I'm all about giving positive information to our children, letting them see themselves in a different light. I don't have no problem with cleaning up a neighborhood. You feel me? I used to go on Knife and Curling or Curling Street by the highway and clean that up. 2 hours. That was therapy for me. You feel me? Just to go out there, put my music on and just vibe. Right. Take my son out there when he wanted to go. Right. But working those 2 jobs took me away from the radio station. So I was talking to my mom and I was like, you know, I did all of this, and she told me how proud she was of me, right? How I changed, how these last 7 years have been the best 7 years of raising me.
Wow.
Right? And I started crying some more. And I said, I had to change how they viewed my last name. You feel me? Bryce, it was a great last name, right? My father stood on that, right, for so many years. And I tarnished that by running the streets and playing in the streets and thinking I was doing something, and I wasn't doing nothing. I said, that's one of the reasons why I changed, right? You know, I always wanted to do radio, right? From our time listening to the Quiet Storm and making tapes, you feel me? And that's what me and my mom used to do. And then my dad died and everything changed. And she said she was sorry for that. Right? She was grieving, and I said, I understand now. I didn't understand then. When you go through life, you understand things differently as you age.
Absolutely.
You understand why people did what they did, and you see it because you're doing the same thing. And I said, I understand how you felt when your husband died. I didn't get it because I lost a father. And I figured you could get another husband, right? I couldn't get another father. But I realized how hurt she was. Mm-hmm. She had to be hurt to do, because she didn't do nothing mean. She wasn't spiteful. She was hurting.
Right.
We didn't go to therapy. We didn't talk about anything, right? When I finally went to therapy, I said, Mom, you need to go to therapy. Well, you know, I'm good. Right? You're not going to sit there, and I'm not putting everything on you. I own everything. But I just want you to hear, right? And then you can fill in the blanks.
Right.
She said, I'm going to help you. I got you. I said, Mom, I don't need your help. I just need you to be here to talk to me. About 5 o'clock that next morning, my phone's ringing. It's my godmother. She says, you know, something's wrong with my mom. I'm like, what do you mean something's wrong with my mom? I got Jordan down here. I can't leave. Like, I got to take her to daycare. I called my sister. I said, go check on mommy because you're closer. I dropped Jordan off at daycare. As soon as I get outside the hotel, she calls me and she says, Mommy's gone. Like, that was so, like, I was done. For the rest of that year, it was crazy because I was in this fog. And I lost my cousin, my favorite cousin, right? I say my favorite cousin because she gave me comfort when I ran to the street. I lost my grandfather, who allowed me to believe in my religion. He said, "You Muslim, but you better pray. God is good, no matter what name you call him." Then I lost my godmother's grandmother, who was like a grandmother to me and loved me. So it was hard. Last year was a year of loss for me. So I had to find a radio station, and I had to bury myself inside of it. So that was quitting 2 jobs. I'm talking about I was making $150,000 a year. Hadn't quite made the $150,000, but I was making that.
Okay.
On par to make that, on course to make that, and it just didn't make sense to continue to work both of those jobs, right? Continue to take away from the radio station when I could focus 110% on the radio station, and I ain't got to worry about no bosses. Mm-hmm. I ain't got to worry about nobody not liking how I'm doing something or feeling some type way, and I'm not going to lie to anybody because you're not going to mess my name up for you. So if you're doing something, I'm going to let them know. So last year it was like, all right, let me focus on the radio station. Let me bring it to the radio station and keep it here. And that's what I've done, right?
You're doing an amazing job. And when you were saying something about your last name, I was thinking to myself, like, your story is like a story of redemption for like everything that you've done bad. It's like you're turning around and doing good.
Yeah.
Like
I don't have no other choice. I don't. Like, there's nothing else I could do. Nothing else. I've done it all. Right? And no, I just want to be. You think about people like when they out to sea, like they see the little buoys in this. I just want to be a buoy on a person's course, right? And see, like, you see how far he got? This is where Pierre got to. I can take it past where Pierre got to. You can be on a real radio station. I've never heard anybody from the city of Chester on a radio station.
Wow.
So that's what I want. Whether it's talk radio or Power 99 or WDAS, whatever, I've never heard anybody from the city of Chester. And if I'm wrong, somebody tell me I'm wrong, give me their name. But that's what I want. So if you come to the radio station and you practice and you start your own show and you get picked up and you become syndicated, I'm proud of your accomplishment, bro. You did that, not me. Why would I hate on that?
I'm a firm believer that we can manifest the things that we desire. So if you speak it, it's obtainable. So You know, I truly believe in that. And I know that you said you don't really feel comfortable with public speaking, but if you ever decide, come to my school. If you ever, you got an open invitation.
I
Hit me
appreciate
up.
that.
You can come.
I appreciate that. I do.
Next question. If you could speak to your younger self right now, what would you say to him? This is a deep one.
What was the place that
The healing circle.
right? So during that healing circle, I had an opportunity to see my younger self, and that was during when I was dealing with my mom, and I was sitting on a porch, you know, because they tell you to close your eyes.
Can you explain the experience to the audience?
Not really, right? But no, they had me laid back. They had me cover my eyes. They had me on a pillow. They had me on a mat. They told me, and I really I don't know where I went, right? But I was sitting there, like really, it was sounds being played, right? And it just felt like a dream. And I was sitting there talking to my younger self, and I asked him, I said, "What's wrong with you?" And he was like, "My dad died." He was like, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, "My mom died." He was like, "Does it hurt any different?" And I said, "No, it kind of hurts worse." See, 12-year-old me didn't really understand how important my father was. Like, he was strict. He was hard, bro. He was Haitian. I was first generation, so I was supposed to be a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant. I was supposed to be something to make money and grow the family. So when he died, I'm not going to say I was happy, but I wasn't bothered.
Okay.
My mom always used to say, "You didn't really cry." I didn't want to tell her shit. The way he treated me, he wasn't bad. He was just strict, right?
Very stern.
And he meant what he said. When he said no, he meant no. And I usually try to pull him to the yes. You feel me? And it didn't work out that way. I remember one Christmas, he said, I called my uncle. Oh man, like, yeah, I got 4 beatings, right? Because I kept going back downstairs and telling my mom I didn't call him because I didn't call him.
Okay.
What you want me to? You want me to lie? At the end of the day, right? You said that I called him. I said no. You beat me, and I'm now supposed to admit that because no, I didn't. Took me back upstairs, did it again, right? And took all my toys from me. So I didn't. Not to say I didn't love my father, but I didn't like him, right? And so when he passed away, you feel me? It was like yard out. You feel me? Like I was outside, not knowing what was outside, running to people, looking for a fatherly figure, looking for someone to help mold me into a man. And how can boys, just because you're older doesn't mean you're a man, right? Yes. You could be a grown boy. You could be a 35-year-old boy. You could be a 45-year-old boy. You could be a 60-year-old boy. And I was looking for that, and it didn't happen the way I wanted it to. And I really didn't hear the men that were coming to me because you were kind of like my father. You feel me? Like, nah, you too straight. I'm going over here. I'm going to play over here. I'm going to run over here. I'm going to be disrespectful over here. But yeah, I don't see. What was the question again?
Okay. If you could speak to your younger self right now, what would you say to him?
I would tell that boy to stay in the house. I would tell that boy that your father ain't lying. I was looking out the window in the Banneker, asked him if I can go outside. He said, "You go outside, you're going to end upstate. You're going to go upstate, just like those 3 boys out there." Graterford. I was looking out the window. Guess who I saw? Those 3 boys. And all of a sudden, I just heard his voice. So I got tattoos on me now, right? I didn't have all these when I went upstate, but I got the Haitian flag right here.
Okay.
I got Haitian stuff all over me, and because I want to walk with my father, right? I was trying to understand what he went through and where he came from, and who he was, right? Because I realized, like, I won't say I was excited. It just didn't bother me that he was sick. You feel me? And then later on in life, like, yeah, So I would tell 12-year-old me, stay in the house, keep reading those books, keep writing. You feel me? Go to school, pay attention. You feel me? And then your dream will come true.
So I want to go back to something like the work that you do with children. You ever think about like the saying like people give what they're in need of?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So like, do you think that you're passionate about like children because again, you had a loving family, but again, your father passed away. So there was things that you missed out on. And I feel like that's part of like your mission, like giving back to children the things that you did not receive.
I mean, that's all I can do. I know what I didn't get, right? I know what I didn't have. So that's all I try to be, right? I try to be someone that the kids can lean on, somebody they can talk to. You feel me? I'm not trying to step in a mom or a dad's shoe.
Gotcha.
You feel me? But I do want to be able to hold them accountable to their actions. You feel me? Like, and I get it. Everybody has different parenting styles. They believe in this gentle parenting. That's why these kids are running over. When they in the school, bro, they run over the people in the schools, right? They don't care. Da-da-da-da-da. You call the parents, and they like, oh, well, deal with it. What? No, coming to get. If you telling me to deal with it, I got a paddle. Like, I'm going to deal with it like that. You bring back paddling, we probably wouldn't have as much disrespect in the schools, and we would be able to teach the kids something. But if there's no consequence, you feel me? There was no consequence for me. That's why I took it to I could have kept going, right? I stopped because I left my son, and I didn't want my son. The one thing that didn't happen to me, I thought I was going to die at a young age. So if it didn't happen to me, guess what was going to happen to? And I didn't want that for my son. So I had to change. I had to come home. I had to get right. You feel me? Like, it was, boy, no, not my son. Not to these streets. No, sorry.
So I have another question. It's not on this paper. So do you find yourself, because you're working in schools, like the students that I guess the ones that people would say are troubled or at risk, or the ones that will really lay you down, those are the kids that gravitate towards you more?
No, not at first.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a big dude, right? So me walking through the halls, I'm a new dude. They don't know me, right? I'd say it took it till most of the school year for the kids to be comfortable to come around me and talk to me. You feel me? Because they like, damn, what's up with him? I don't look like a friendly person if you don't know me, right? My face is usually frowned up. You feel me? I'm usually looking like, what's up? You feel me? Like, so I don't have no problem with speaking, but I'm not like, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Let me talk to you. No, I'm not going to overstep my bounds, right? There's boundaries. Everybody has boundaries, right? So, when you want to come talk, bro, I'm here. You feel me? Like, no, I love you, for real. Seriously, you're not my kid. I don't know you from a can of paint, but I got love for you. I want to see you succeed. I want to see you be great. The question is, do you want to see that?
Right.
You feel me? That's where the question is. What do you want to see for yourself? Where do you see yourself? Like, you asked me that 5-year question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Well, I see the radio station being on an app. I see the radio station being able to help the kids. I see kids being able to come to the radio station and grow. I see kids being able to come to the radio station, grow, go to college, already knowing how to do all this stuff. So you got a leg up, right? So, yeah, I want the kids to have a moment of clarity.
Okay. All right. We got like 3 more questions.
All right, you good?
All right. Are there any self-care practices that you currently practice that you recommend besides therapy?
Journaling, meditation, and just speaking the truth, right? I feel like, every day I speak the truth and I understand something a little different. Like, I've never really said out loud how I felt about my dad, right? And see, once I started saying that, I started crying because I realized that I'm missing who I would have been if he would have been here. Far outweighs anybody I am today. And if you think today I'm a great person, just imagine what I would have been if he would have been here.
Wow.
Right. So,
if you could meet anyone, whether they are currently deceased or alive now, who would it be and why?
just one person?
It could be more than one.
I apologize. I'm sorry.
That's no words.
Oh. Who would I want to meet? I would definitely want to meet Martin Luther King,
Okay.
Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, and see, I go back to times when we weren't allowed to do stuff.
Okay.
Because we're allowed to do whatever we want now. It's been seen, right? You know, we can go where we want, we can say what we want, we can do what we want, but we don't have a respect for the people that came before us, right? So, the brother that led the Haitian Revolution in 1804, Toussaint, I want to meet him.
It was no joke. I got him on a shirt.
I want to meet him and talk to him. Soldiers and warriors and people that were able to amass money, right? Anybody that was for us, right? That's no longer here. W.E.B. Du Bois, even though he was, he had different, to talk to him, to pick his brain, bro. Like, my dad had me. I was all about history.
Okay.
Right. So I had to learn where I came from to understand where I was going. And when he passed away, I ain't worried about where I came from, bro. I'm worried about where I'm going. You feel me? And I went everywhere. I went through everything. I've been in every situation you can possibly name, right? And I'm still here and I'm still positive. I'm still here and I still respect people. I still give people grace. Like, grace is one of the few things that we don't give enough of, right? People,
it can't be bought. It's just given.
It's just given, right? You can give me some money after I give it to you. You feel me? But no, it's not about how much or how little you have. It's about how much grace you give, right? And if you give grace, then you'll get grace. Because you never know when you'll need it.
We all
Trust
need
me.
it.
You never know when you need it. I ain't gonna tell a story because that's gonna put me out. But like I remember being younger. So I was around 24, and a young man gave me grace. You feel me?
Okay.
And I didn't deserve it. But he had a conversation with me, and he was like, "You know what? This ain't what you do, right? So yeah, you can go."
But look at you paying it forward.
I don't have no other choice.
Some people don't get it. Some people still, they had all types of blessings and grace, and they still keep on going through that same merry-go-round and that same cycle.
It wasn't for another 4 years. I was still involved in it for 4 years, and then when I came home from upstate, I was done. Like it was. Yeah, I can't do that no more. Every time I touched that white girl, she called the cops on me. So I didn't want to sell no more coke. I was over. Right, even though I was making money, even though I had people. What was it? How much? I spent $2,800 off an ounce. 28 ounces, 28 grams, $100 per gram. When I went upstate, everybody was like, "Man, what you doing up here? You don't sell coke. What you do?" I said, "Well, I ain't raped nobody. That's for damn sure." You feel me? So I had 30 dimes. I got caught. You feel me? It was my time. I had to come up here and sit down. I was smoking coke. Put it on my weed, do that all day. You feel me? So I realized that when I went home, I had to change something. So selling coke and smoking weed was the two things that I changed. Of course, I didn't change nothing else, right? But
you changed a lot. Come on now.
At that time, I didn't change nothing else, right? Because I came home and I continued to lie and cheat and steal and I made children. And I hurt somebody that meant a lot to me, and I was still hurting from that situation. So that's why that situation went the way it went. But no, when you realize the pain that you've caused, and you want to change, you have to. You can't ignore it. You can't run from it because it will chase you down. Yeah, I didn't want it to. So
What's for you won't miss you.
it damn sure won't.
And another thing, all money ain't good money.
I spend it so fast, I don't know if it's good or not.
I hear you. This is my last question. This is another deep one. I know I done hit you with some deep questions.
No, you good. Most of these questions I think of, you feel me? And you didn't give me the questions. I didn't want the questions. You feel me? Most people would be like, yo, can you send me the questions you're going to ask so I can, like.
You did this straight off the dome. Truly, truly did.
Yeah, I'm not playing.
So, in closing, when you take your last breath, what do you want to be remembered for? And how do you plan on ensuring that your legacy lives on?
I want to be remembered for cultivating mature positivity. I want to be remembered for giving people a chance to do something that they didn't think or didn't know that they had a chance to do before. This radio station, like, is everything. It has given me a platform to speak. It's given others a platform to be heard.
Yep.
And it has blessed numerous politicians with a right to be voted for.
Wow.
It showed me, it has connected me to a lot of people, right? Shout out to Dr. Kristen Motley, right? You know, I want to say she saved my life. I had 2 strokes in the hospital. She got me right. Shout out to Rachel Hannibal. Did a show with her last night. She gonna get me right in the pockets and get me to save some money,
Awesome.
right? So these are the things that have come from the radio station. I just want people to understand, right? If you don't do the work, you can't complain about the work not being done, right? And if we want to change the community, if we want to bring the community closer together, we got to talk about it.
Absolutely.
Right? We always talk about, I don't want to go to no meetings. I don't want to be involved with no meetings. Well, that's because the meetings ain't talking about nothing, right? But when we break it down to say, what are the things that plague our community, it usually comes down to people not believing in themselves, people not caring for the other person. So, yeah, I when my bell is rung, I just want my kids to know I love them.
Okay.
Right? And I did this for them. I want my community to know that I loved it. And I brought this radio station here for them to use. And I'm a servant, right? I'm here to serve. I'm not here to take anything from anybody. I'm here to give. I'm here to make sure everybody gets access to everything. Yeah, that's me.
Wow. First off, I just want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to interview and not even allow you to see the questions, and you just answered them truly from the heart. It was really an authentic interview. I actually enjoy interviewing. I could do this some more.
Yeah, you can do it some more. Bring on some guests. Come on, who want to be a guest?
Yes.
Right.
I really, I appreciate, and I hope, some people got to find out, a little bit more about you. And I like the fact that
Everybody already know
you
everything.
didn't shy away from any questions.
No,
And
I thought you was gonna ask me some questions about cheating. Did I enjoy that? I say everybody enjoy it until you had that post nut syndrome.
Here
Like,
we go.
Why I do that?
Here we go.
Then you do it again. All right, I thought that's what. Listen, after the conversations we had, you feel me? And I was like, oh, she gonna ask me a whole bunch of questions about cheating. No, I know I have lied and used and manipulated several women, and I apologize for that. I apologize for my behavior. It's hard to be a man. It's hard to be a woman, right? You just want people to share time with. So, I can apologize for my actions if they weren't forthright, if they were not honest, and I can move forward. And I just hope that, the women that I share children with the women that I have touched, the women that we've had that type of relationship, that they understand that I didn't do it to hurt them, right? I was hurt. I was scared of being hurt again. And I took advantage of a lot of people that didn't deserve it. So
I always appreciate your transparency. We always have good conversations on here and just in general. And the authenticity shines through every time. Like, I didn't expect, it to just flow like this because I was just asking you some really deep questions.
Yes.
I appreciate you just diving in, and that's how you've been from day one since
Right.
I've met you. Just
Right.
truly authentic, truly, not afraid to be vulnerable. And that's the thing I want to close with. Like, I hope in you sharing and being so transparent, this will help another man that's on the podcast or watching out there and knowing that it's okay to be vulnerable, because toxic masculinity is real. And there's so many people out there holding things, carrying things, or feel like they can't share their emotions or showing vulnerability is weak. And it's not. There's strength in vulnerability. And you show that every day that you decide to get on the Facebook, get on any social media and just share the authentic you. So I appreciate that. And I'm sure others appreciate that, whether they tell you or not.
Oh man, I know they do, right? That's never been a question as to whether anybody appreciates it. It's always been a question for me whether I want to continue doing it. And like I said last year, yeah, if I'm still doing it after what I went through last year, then know that this is what I want to do. I got my brother Teron. I had called him a minute ago and talked to him about coming up, because he would be the person that would know my father.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
I want to say we moved to Houston Street in 80 or 90. We were there for 2 years. And then we moved to East 21st Street. So it might have been longer than that, right?
Okay.
But he knew my father. He knew who my father was, and he had a grandfather, much like my father.
Okay.
Right? That didn't play, that was very strict, right? So, I told him, he lives all the way in Delaware.
Okay.
So if we do a show with him, it'll be a StreamYard situation.
Okay.
And, you don't got to come into the radio station. You can stay home,
Okay.
and we'll do it from there.
Okay.
Right? But I'm trying to get with him so he can come in and talk about where he is, right? Because he realized that he had to change during COVID.
Okay.
The way he loved, right? The way he loved his kids, the way he showed up for his kids, right? We had that conversation. So, I'm super proud of him. You feel me? And I said, bro, we must have had good foundations, right? That we can just, all right, wipe away our houses, you feel me? Mm-hmm. And just rebuild on top of the foundation. So, if you got a good foundation, bro, you're in a good position to succeed.
Absolutely.
Right? And even if you don't have a good foundation, you can rebuild your foundation as well. Right? You just got to use the right bricks.
Right.
You feel me? Like, you got to take them blaming and add some accountability, right? You got to remove the negative naysaying and add some positivity, right? So, it's possible. It's possible for anybody, bro. Like, and I don't want nobody blessings, bro. Blessings, peace, bro. But I don't want anybody to feel like, it's too late, because it's not. You feel me? It's not.
It's not where you start, it's how you finish.
It's how you finish, bro. I think Jeff Bezos didn't start his shit until he was old. Nigga worth billions of dollars, which is crazy.
Yeah.
We just talked about that.
Yeah, we sure did.
I just watched this joint with Bernie Sanders talking about how much they make. And I'm like, yo, maybe Pac was right, bro. Maybe it's time for us to stop playing around and stop laughing and stop joking and stop smoking and just be real about what we need in our community and what we want in our community, bro. I know we have our own personal lives, right? And it gets hard sometimes, but if we don't make sure it's here, we'll never have it.
Facts.
What will our kids have? What will our kids be? You feel me? That's what scares me. You feel me? Not 20 years. I'm talking about, 30 years from now.
Right.
Right? Well, what will they be? What will they be doing? If it's going this way now,
Right.
will we even still be here? So, Yeah, I appreciate you, Drea. I do. I want to thank you for. I know when I first mentioned being a co-host on Uncomfortable Conversations, you was like, me?
Yeah,
Like, this wasn't something that you were. I just said,
doing.
I'm trying to find someone that. I've worked with people throughout the city, right? And I appreciate everybody, but everybody busy now. So
Right.
I'm not saying you're not busy, right? But I thought it would be nice to hear your voice and understand what you've gone through, right? And to come on the show and share. So thank you.
Thank you for the
Appreciate
opportunity.
it. Yeah, give you your flowers. All right. Well, that's the end of the show, man. I appreciate everybody for tuning in and sitting here and watching me cry. Drea did it. Blame Drea. You feel me? She definitely did it. But this is what it's about, right? Men. It's about being vulnerable and being able to talk. This is what therapy did, right? If I didn't go to therapy, I wouldn't be able to have this. I wouldn't be able to answer those questions.
Wow.
Right? Honestly, because I told my cousin the other day, I said, yeah. And I told her about the interview. She's like, you don't want to see the questions? I said, nah, I done already talked about this. I done told a complete stranger my life. So why wouldn't I tell the people that say they support me? Why wouldn't I tell the people that say they love me? Why wouldn't I tell the people that smile in my face?
Right.
Whether you stab me in the back or not, it's like Eminem on 8 Mile. You already talked about. Yes, right. I do live in a trailer. Right. Right. my daughter does. You feel me?
Right.
Whatever. I've already said it, so you can't hurt me with it.
You owned it.
You can't hurt me with it.
Right.
You really can't. So try something else. And that's what vulnerability does.
Absolutely.
Right? It allows you to open up the doors. And if you're going to go in there and steal, that's on you. Right? I don't know what you're stealing, but yeah, steal some gum. Nah, but this has been Uncomfortable Conversations with Uncle P and Drea B. I appreciate y'all. Next week, make sure you tune in. Make sure you're here. And I don't know what we're talking about. Next week, it's my turn for the topic, right?
Yes, it is.
Yes,
and I just hope some of y'all come on through. I say this every week. This is episode 7.
Yeah, it usually takes about 10 episodes before we can start to get people to come through. So we got 3 more episodes, just me and you.
Okay.
And then we'll start reaching out. And like I said, Tehran might be the first person.
Okay.
Right? And like I said, again, we'll do that via StreamYard. But he might be the first person that we interview. And yeah, man, listen, it's tomorrow I'm doing a civics engagement show from 7 to 8. Mike Martin, we're supposed to do straight like that, but I don't know if he can get unbusy to do it. Right? He called me last week. I was here waiting for him. He said, I ain't gonna be able to make it. I said, okay. Right. Consistency. You can't have something if you're not consistent.
Right.
You gotta every day you gotta wake up and chase that dog if you want it. If you want it, you gotta chase it every day. Same time. That dog gotta be, you feel me? Like, if you gotta go out early, then go out early. You feel me? Catch it sleeping so you can get over top of it. But you gotta chase it.
Absolutely.
No matter what. So I want everybody to have a great week. Rest of your week is Tuesday. So, you got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday left. Check me out tomorrow for Attack the Day. Drea, anything you want to say?
Some of y'all, please come through. And, thanks for tuning in.
Right. Teachable Moments is coming soon as well. Because you have to learn that you teach people how to deal with you. Right? More than anything, we have to take control of our reactions, our accountability, and our excuses. I want y'all to be safe. I love y'all on purpose. Yeah, I'm out of here, man.